What up, crew? Great to have you here at the card table. I'm your host, Vineet, aka Card Mechanic, and in this show, we interview magicians, cardists, YouTubers, and more. So stay tuned. In today's show, we're going to be talking to Card Perfect Magician. I've known him for quite some time now. We've worked on some incredible collab videos together. So without any further ado, please give it up for Card Perfect Magician. Hey, Elijah, great to have you here at the card table. How are you doing today?
Doing freaking fantastic, man.
That is great to hear. I think this is the first time that we have ever gotten to talk. I know we've probably known each other for, I want to say 2 years maybe, and this is the
Yeah,
first time ever that we got to actually do this face to face. So that's pretty cool.
it's about time.
So, yeah, for those people subscribers that don't know you, I'd love for you to introduce yourself, maybe a little bit, just what you're about, what you like doing, and things like that.
Yeah, so I run the channel Card Perfect Magician, and I've been running that for now just over 2 years, where I teach sleight of hand tutorials, card tricks, cardistry, and do deck reviews.
And what about, how did you get into doing this? How did you get into doing card tricks, cardistry, and deck reviews and things like that?
Yeah, so originally it started, I was like 6, and my dad showed me like a very basic, like rising card out of the deck card trick, and I was completely mind blown, but then forgot about it. In 8th grade, a friend of mine started showing me some self-working card tricks, and that was the time when I really just fell in love with sleight of hand. So clearly, at that point, it really wasn't sleight of hand; it was self-working stuff.
Yeah,
But the two of us went for about a year and a half together doing it, and then she just went more basketball, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go all in with this. So I was probably at the middle of the end of 9th grade. I started my first YouTube channel, which ended up getting terminated because I didn't understand copyright as a 15-year-old. Shocker. So did more research on that, and then ended up starting the channel. It would have been January 5th of 2019. So I love the way that I'm a psychology major at college, so I
yeah,
can take the psychology principles and my love for people and really merge those together. And the amount of like friendships and even just like things like meeting you through this, that you can, I love connection and people and how people work
mhm.
and why do you do this and that and the other. So you can really combine these two massive passions of mine so well. And I had to be able to share that with other people.
Wow. Yeah, I mean that's really good. I kind of love the fact that those two things merge together. So I
Mhm.
guess that kind of leads me to asking this question. So why didn't you just go with, if you're studying psychology, why didn't you decide to go with more of a mentalism type track?
Yeah. So I do kind of like the concept of mentalism, and I have the 13 Steps of Mentalism book that I got for Christmas, and like
Yeah,
I've got some things like this where I do like it. There's nothing I have explicitly wrong with it.
yeah,
Up until about a year and a half ago, I thought mentalism was like off the deep end, like not okay, like because I didn't understand what it was at first, right? It's just
gotcha.
sleight of hand presented as a mind reading in a mind reading way. It's
Hmm.
not actually bad. So up until that point, I had no idea what it actually was. Now, do I think I'll probably do some things with mentalism and interweave it with my sleight of hand? Yes, but for the most part, even when I've talked to people, if I said, if like, what would you do if I presented a card trick like it was mentalism and I explained what mentalism was?
Right.
A lot of the responses that I got were, well, I think I'd be okay with it since it's you. But if someone else did it, I probably wouldn't be okay with it because
Mm,
of the connotation that it has. Because for most people, they just don't know what mentalism was. And up
exactly.
until about a year and a half ago, I didn't either. So for the most part, and the majority of people, they'd be thinking about it the way that I used to.
Yeah,
And because I don't really, I want magic to be fun. I want to be able to present this illusion, this, and give them that feeling of magic that you're going to get once in a lifetime. And I don't want
exactly.
to have to ruin that because I want to change my performance.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely feel that. I got into magic for the exact same reason, just to kind of build up to that performance and then give the people like 1 second of like pure mystery and amazement. So that's kind of the reason I started as well. So now, what made you start a YouTube channel? Why YouTube? Why not go straight onto performing shows or something?
Yeah, this one is kind of entertaining. So originally, it was about it was that ninth grade year I started my first one, and truth be told, I just wanted to remember the tricks that I had because I
Yeah.
was learning so many at a time from like Miss Mag and like a big old group of people from YouTube, and I was like, this is kind of cool, and I'm gonna forget all of them.
Hmm.
So at first I just started doing it, and I was as if I was gonna teach myself, which I do think is like the best way to teach magic, as if you were trying to learn it. But so I tried to do it where I'm just remembering the tricks, and I have unfortunately forgot a lot of the ones that got deleted in that, which is just kind of funny. But and then I have a really entrepreneurial brained. I'm just so entrepreneurial brained in all of life. Like I also have a business administration minor. That's the way my brain goes. If
Hmm.
someone says I like art or I like drumming or I like whatever, it's how can you turn a passion into a profit? That's just
Yeah.
it's how my brain works. How can you do what you love as your job forever? That's just how my brain works. So I started off on YouTube the second time thinking more along that route, saying how can I do this is the main thing that I love to do in all of life. It's go to church, drum, and sleight of hand. That's it. Those are my three things that if I can do nothing else, that's what I want to do. And I was if that's all I can do for the rest of my life, then so be it. And I'd be fine. So YouTube is the way that I could find a way to connect with the most amount of people and still be able to do it full time.
Cool. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So you like drumming? Why don't you start like a drumming YouTube channel?
I have debated it. I've been drumming I actually started the same month that I started sleight of hand. I started drumming. So I've been doing
Wow.
both of these for 8 years. Apparently that was just a really great month. I don't know. But so did that, been doing both of those for a long time. I'm drumming for 2 chapel teams and 2 worship teams for my church. And I absolutely love it. But the problem is time commitment.
Mm.
So taking X amount of classes at college, plus having a major and a minor, working a part-time job and trying to run this channel and work on Descendants playing cards. And I'm just like the amount of things that I just like
Yeah.
saying yes. It's really hard for me to say no at this point in my life. And that's something I'm working on, of course. But saying yes to all of these things just means I have to set aside something. And that's just the thing
Yeah.
that for the moment I'm setting aside.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely agree. You can't say yes to everything, otherwise your plate's definitely just going to get full. You won't be able to give your full attention to what you're really passionate about.
Right.
So yeah, definitely a huge thing that I learned early on was learn to say no, even though it's definitely not easy. You want to do everything, but it's just reality is you can't.
Yeah.
So continuing with your YouTube channel, tell me about maybe some of the biggest challenges you faced while running a YouTube channel, and then how you overcame those challenges.
Yeah. So I think clearly the first one would be my first channel being terminated.
Yeah.
Um, Clearly, there wasn't really a way that I could overcome that. Technically speaking, like I couldn't get all that stuff back in the time, but the knowledge that I gained from that
Hmm.
was absolutely insane. So I guess the way that I really took that into made it new was starting up this new channel. I waited about a year and just did a massive amount of research on copyright and trademarking and all that whole line of everything, really. Just seeing how deep can I dive to make sure that this doesn't happen again.
Hmm.
So I just want to be able to prepare myself for a mountain before I even get there at this point. So that's kind of my mentality with that now. So clearly copyright has been that was a big mountain that I had to climb for a second. But there's that. Another one which a lot of people give me a lot of hate for whenever I say this, but I legitimately just have smaller hands. And like I do not think it by any means is that an excuse for not being able to perform anything, but my hands are the size of a playing card. Like literally the width is the size of the playing card. So like a lot of different top palming and things like that have just I've had to maneuver the way that I've had to learn it.
Hmm.
So there's different moves that I do differently than other people, which is okay. And it's not the technical way of doing it. It's my altered way of doing it. So just finding ways to adapt and shift different techniques and sleights to fit the way that I have to perform. Another thing is clearly COVID, right? So my style, because you have from mentalism to street magic to a massive plethora. I
Hmm.
love street magic. I'm at my college all the time and I'm performing in the mallway and in different classrooms. Anywhere I'm going, I'm performing somewhere, and I love it. That's why I just sit at coffee shops half the time and just wait for people to come in, and they just know if Elijah's there, he's performing magic, and it makes my day. I love to perform magic, but COVID has really had to shift that. So now the different ways that I have to do it, if someone wants to see it, I might just set up a Zoom call with them and just say, I'll have to do it this way. So performing things through a camera, or even just sending them to my YouTube channel, or trying to find different ways to do it that. But more in regards of just YouTube itself, and challenge that I've had is just finding time. I know that a lot of people are trying to either just upload 1 video a week, or 3 videos a week, or a video every other week. And it's, for anything that is worth value, it requires sacrifice. And like, it's just the way that life is. Anything that has worth takes something you have to give to get it.
Yeah.
Or else it has worth. So that's probably been my main thing. And really all of YouTube is taking the time and the different things I have to put aside. So people are going and they're going to go out to dinner, and I'm staying back and I'm editing a video. Or they're going out and going roller skating, and I'm staying back and working on titles and thumbnails and all these different things that goes into running a YouTube channel. So it's not what you would expect when you go into it. Really, you go in like, I can make a video, I record it, looks good to me, I take off the part where I click the button to start and stop, and I upload it. And that's what I think my mentality was at the beginning, where my first video on my old channel was me where my hair wasn't done because I just got out of the shower. I had my phone propped up on, like, just sitting on the actual mattress.
Yeah.
Wearing a sleeveless t-shirt where you could, like, massive farmer's tan. I had braces. It was so bad. And then I'm doing this self-working card trick where I'm putting the cards down on the bed, but they're so close to the camera that you can't even see them anymore. So I'm laying cards down, and it's like I'm doing a laser deal. It's unbelievably horrible. And I wish I had that to show it to you, because just looking back and just remembering this video is like almost traumatizing. But taking things like that and being able to say, well, this is what I did, how can I tweak this and make it 1% better, is the reason I have this, right? It's the reason you have that. Every video is like, oh, well, I can't see the cards, my lights are so dark. Or maybe a little splash of color, or the purple behind you makes every little difference count.
Yeah, it really does. So you actually covered quite a lot.
Yeah, sorry about that.
I guess talking to your last point, I love having an archive of every single video I've ever uploaded. So so I actually started a YouTube channel when I was in high school. When I was, I think 18 years old, 17 or 18. That's when I first started a YouTube channel, and it was just doing like comedy skits. So I have all of my videos from that point till now. So like, how old am I now? Like 9 years worth of videos that I just have completely archived. So anytime I want to think back and look, like, oh, that's where I started from, and here's where I am now. It just, it's really gratifying to see that entire change that has happened. And yeah, so I'd highly recommend, if you aren't archiving your videos, you should 100% do that. It just definitely builds you up quite a lot when you look back.
Yeah, 100%. Because I think one of the biggest things with that is a lot of people say, well, I have this amount of subscribers, I have this amount of views, or my video quality is this good, but I want to be right there. I want to be where this person is. I want to be where that person is. I wish I had their subscriber count. And you can do that, and it's fine. It's nice to have a goal. Goal setting is what makes life go. At least for me, it is. I have to set a goal to be able to do anything. But when you look back and say, this is where I was, the numbers don't matter quite as much. You can sit in the moment for a second and just, you can just breathe. And it's so nice to just say, this is where I was. It's okay. If I would have been back there looking at me now, I would have had no stress in the world.
Yeah, and I agree. I think it's always that 1% that you were talking about, making that small change every single time that you do a video. Or maybe even, it doesn't even have to be every single video you do. It could be every week. It could be, I don't know, every month. But as long as you're making like that 1 to 2% change, of course, in the positive direction. I
Yeah.
think that's what really adds and builds you up to where you are.
100%.
So, man, there's so many things I want to talk about now. So I guess I'll move on to the next question. So what's your favorite aspect about doing what you're doing? So what do you love about YouTube?
Oh man, that's the amount of ways I could go with this question. Oh wow. I'd probably number one, I'd say community. Again, it sounds cliche, but most of the time things are cliche because they're true, right? It's because they're true.
Yeah.
I love going to my comment section or getting on Instagram or getting on a Zoom call and realizing that I can do something and people care, right? Like for a lot of life, if you decide to put in the hours on X, Y, or Z, you're going to put in these hours. Sometimes you get recognition, sometimes you won't. And it doesn't matter if you get recognition or not. But sometimes people are there to watch. Sometimes people are there to pass you the ball the next time you get a shot. Sometimes it's just having support for you. And it's absolutely mind blowing. Like having 1.7 thousand subscribers isn't a massive number. And at the same time, it's huge.
Yeah.
If I was in a room right now with 1,700 people, I wouldn't know what to do with myself. That means the only way I could do that is if I was in an auditorium on a stage.
Yeah.
Right. And then people are like, I only have 50 subscribers. You know what you would do right now if you had 50 people in a room watching you do magic? You would pee your pants on a dime. Like it's absolutely mind-blowing the amount of support you can have from a small number of people. And it's that community that you just don't expect. Someone that originally commented on like one of my first few videos, his name is David, and he started talking. He's like, hey, could you pray for me? I'm like, 100%. What do you need? And he starts going into his thing with his hand being hurt, and I prayed for him. And I'm like, I completely understand that. I went through a bone marrow transplant when I was 9, and like I have some things with health as well. And the places you don't think you're going to make a relationship through a comment section on a sleight of hand magic video it's absolutely mind blowing to me. The ways that you can create connections. If I never made $1, touched a deck of cards, made a video again, and my entire thing was just talking to people in comment sections, I would be just fine. It's the people, it's the relationships, and it's crazy that you can type something in a box and get to know someone without ever seeing them. Like I felt like I've known you for 2 years.
Yeah.
And this is our first conversation.
Yeah.
And that's mind-blowing. How on earth is that possible? It's crazy. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, I think I can 100% relate to that. And I think that's kind of where I sometimes look back to. For example, if I upload a video and so let's say it gets, I don't know. I usually see how many views I get in a video in the first hour.
Yeah.
So some videos don't do well, some videos do pretty well. So if I'm doing like I don't know, like a deck review video, and I get like 100 views in the first hour, comparing that to like a card trick video where it goes to like 200 views in the first hour, having 100 views in the first hour feels like, wow, this video sucks. I did terrible. But then like what you said, if you actually had 100 people just come up and actually see what you're doing, that's a crazy number of people that are just sitting there and watching you review a deck.
Yeah.
So it's always kind of humbling to go back, even if your numbers aren't too high, to know like, well, you still have a good amount of people that are watching your stuff. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I think most of the time, like you have this passion for cards or for videography or for whatever it is that you're doing. And like, I love cards, clearly. I love cards. So fun. The different stocks, the different finishes, and the different colorways, and the amount of things you can do with cards is unbelievable. And I can't show that to people. Like my family thinks it's cool because I've shown them that I think it's cool, and now they're starting to understand it as well. But if I go up to someone, to Jim Bob on the street, and I walk up and like, hey, Jim Bob, I don't know why I chose that name, but it's okay. And I'm like, this is what I think about this deck of cards. And I show him the whole thing. He's not going to care at all.
Yeah.
Like, what? Like, there's no reason for him to. People legitimately care about the same thing you care and are searching literally to find you. It's unbelievable. It's people
Yeah.
finding your position and running with it. It's awesome.
Yeah, I can 100% agree with that. So, yeah, I guess we talked a little bit about you. We talked about why you are doing what you're doing. We talked about some of your challenges, and I guess you said community was your favorite aspect of
Oh, yeah.
having this YouTube channel.
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
No question.
so, so would that mean, for example, if you did, I don't know, for example, you didn't do cards, you just did something else, like you did, I don't know, cotton picking or something. Do you think that would still be your favorite aspect, regardless of what you did on YouTube? Your favorite aspect would still be the community?
100%. I don't think it would matter what my niche is. If I'm showing people some of the pointillism pieces that I've done, if I'm teaching them drums, if I'm teaching sleight of hand, or if I'm showing them different ways to tie a tie, I don't think it's going to matter. Because at the end of the day, no matter the medium you get to people, you still get to people.
Mm-hmm.
The medium
Yeah.
is just the way that you get there.
Mm-hmm.
If I cross a wooden bridge or a golden bridge, both ways I get to the same destination. I don't think it matters that how flashy or how cool or how intricate or large or grand or whatever way that you're going to get to people. People are my life. It's the relationship that you can build with someone to completely alter the way they see everything until they die. And you can't do that if you never talk to people, if you don't build a community. And it's amazing. 100%. I don't think it matters.
Cool. And I guess just going around that same community topic. So I actually did not realize. So I've been on YouTube since September of 2017 is when I uploaded my first ever video, and I
On
don't
the
think it was
or onto a
on
different.
on this channel. Yeah, the first video I ever uploaded was in like 2012 or 2011 or something like that.
Fair enough.
So, what was I saying? What happened? I swear I was going somewhere with this. What were we talking about?
We were talking about community.
Right. Yes. I remember. So I for the longest time I just didn't want to make an Instagram because I don't know. It just felt like there was just so much I was already doing on YouTube. I didn't really have a need to go somewhere else. But the more I looked at it, there's so much more community building that happens on Instagram because that's what Instagram is. It's a social media platform, whereas as YouTube is more of a video platform. So I saw there's so much more engagement on Instagram than I had ever had on YouTube. There's so many more people that I can talk to directly there. And so I think for me, probably the biggest thing was to get started on Instagram, and I really didn't do that until like last year.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago. I was kind of in shock for a long time. I was just like, he's doing all of this on YouTube. He has like 7,000 subscribers and absolutely nothing on Instagram. I was like, how is he even going anywhere? That just means you clearly are doing something right if you can do all of that without even going in that whole side. I was seriously impressed and kind of shocked at the same time.
I think for me, the way that I really grew my YouTube channel is I looked at a lot of other YouTube creators that do kind of help people to create their own YouTube channels. Like I'm sure you know, like Tim Schmoyer from Video Creators. I think his name is Roberto Blake.
Yep, Roberto Blake, vidIQ.
Yeah. So there's so many people that I was able to learn from. And I was kind of able to put together some kind of template onto how to grow my channel to 100 subscribers, then how to grow it to 1,000. And now I'm so close to 10,000. I can't tell you how excited I am that I'm
You're
so
gonna wake
close,
up
that
today.
close to 10,000. I'm just about 200 away. I seriously can't wait. I'm just doing my best to get there by the end of this month. So you got like 8 days left.
Oh yeah,
So
you got that.
That's 208 days. I don't think I've ever done that before, but we'll see.
I'm breaking records and making records. That's like you're breaking records and making a record at the same time. So we're going for it.
Oh, for sure, for sure. So, I guess I just want to wind down now with a couple more questions. So, where do you think your channel is headed now, and in what direction do you think your channel is going? Are you going to be
Yeah.
doing the same kind of content you're doing now, mainly focused on deck reviews and sleight of hand, or do you have other things, other ideas in mind?
Yeah, this is one I've been struggling with because I want to be known for something,
Hmm.
but I also don't want to be limited to something, if that
Hmm.
makes any sense.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
one thing that I also have a massive passion for within the realm of cards is card throwing. I've been doing that for a long time. I just put out my first card throwing tutorial, and like I've made a full court shot at a basketball gym. I throw them up into balconies. I put a dent in our basement wall. We're not going to talk about that, but I card throwing is so interesting. And even if you're going to do like a stage performance setting, if you need to use time misdirection, card throwing is a fantastic way to do that.
Mhm.
The amount of ways that you can use it, from if you do a simple double, then you throw a card and now it's changed and it's somewhere else, right? And it's just another aspect that you can put on within sleight of hand that I like. So I'm probably going to lean some way with that. So I don't have a ton of cardistry. I try to mix the cardistry and sleight of hand to about 50-50. I want
Yeah,
to add that in at about probably like 20% with that as well. But that one's one that I'm kind of struggling with because there's different ways that I could go, and I'm trying to figure out which ways I should go. But
mhm.
that one's one I struggle with pretty much daily. And like, if I tried this out, if I did this, what would happen? So I've just started experimenting. That's why the card throwing tutorial went up, and I'm just gonna start going for it. If somebody doesn't like it, that's okay, and then I just won't go that way. And if somebody likes the other thing, then fantastic.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So for me, I was always passionate about doing comedy skits. So
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw it. I guess some of my recent videos, I uploaded one today where
Hmm.
I did kind of like a comedy sketch.
The school one. Hmm.
Yep, yep. And yeah, I love being able to do things like that because I don't know, I was always a fan of humor and comedy, so I kind of wanted to integrate that with my channel. Although it's not really related to card magic, per se, but I
Hmm.
kind of want to try to find a way that I can merge those things together. Yeah, you want to say something?
Yeah. Sorry, I just remembered. I was sorry. I just have random thoughts that pop in all the time. But welcome to being ADD. So I do remember one where drumming and beatboxing, I want to kind of integrate into it. So either where I'm doing sleight of hand, and like if I were to go on TED or something like that type of style, what would I do? Right? What would I drum? Would I do sleight of hand? And then I was thinking, why can't I
Hmm.
do both? What if I was the beatboxing magician, right? So trying to find other ways to incorporate that. Or if I just took a video and layered all these different clips to make beats with cards. So I have this, I riffle for one thing, and then I do
That'd be pretty cool.
a backdrop for another. And so the riffle is now the snare drum, and the backdrop is the hi hat, and I layer that together to make a beat. Or like just the
That'd
amount
be
of
pretty
ways
cool.
Slim did that, where he did like the trailer to a Billie Eilish song. He did that to Bad Guy, and I was like, well, what if
Yeah, yep, I
I just
remember.
kind of twisted that a little bit?
That'd be really cool. I would
Yeah,
100% watch that, and I'm sure if people like the beat, they'd watch it on repeat like all day, every day. Yeah,
yeah.
that's definitely a really nice idea. It's funny that you say that because I was also very passionate about music until like pretty much throughout high school. I sucked freshman year of high school. I played the saxophone and
Oh,
I was horrible. And then by senior year, I became like 15th best in the state.
no way.
So I guess I was really passionate about music, and my friends always told me like they knew I loved doing card tricks in high school. So whenever I had a chance, beginning of class or end of class or in the hallways or something, I was doing card tricks.
Oh, of
And they're like,
course.
you should do something. So we had like a Mr. like high school talent show kind of thing
Yeah.
for pretty much all the seniors. So one of my friends was like, "Oh, you should do a card trick with your saxophone," and I conceptualized so many ideas,
Hmm.
but then it just nothing ended up working out. I wanted to be playing the saxophone and having like cards come out of the bell and whatnot, but it
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
just nothing nothing worked.
Right.
But I like the idea of integrating music with magic. I think that's a really cool idea. So it would be really interesting to see you go down that path with some of your videos.
Yeah, I really like integrating other stuff. I did a stage performance kind of similar to that, where we have like at the first week of every year, we have like a campus-wide competition, which every hall is against each other. And one of the things is a campus-wide talent show.
Mhm.
And clearly, for stage magic, you have to take a simple concept and make it bigger, because you can't
Yeah,
do a double and have anyone see what the card is. You can't show someone a card, because there's a couple thousand people. The people in the balcony are never going to have a chance of seeing it. So taking that, and I wanted to like do some kind of color change. So I ended up doing it with my t-shirt. So I had to like rig a jacket and rig the t-shirt and have a t-shirt underneath. And when someone takes a t-shirt off and puts a different t-shirt on as someone is crossing in front of me. And I basically did like a t-shirt color change on stage, and finding ways to just tweak performances with things that you wouldn't normally use. I love like it's almost organic magic,
mhm.
but more obscure organic magic, if that makes sense. Like instead of just like, hey, can I have your glasses, which people have like seen Chris Williams like break it off and put it back on, or if you use someone's phone or a quarter that they have in their pocket, using like, hey, can I have your shoe for a second? There's something weird. It's like that you just wouldn't expect to use for magic. It's like,
Yeah,
yeah, all right, let me see your belt. Snap, tears belt in half and puts it back together. Like just something weird. And I find it, that it's unique, but it's also just thinking hilarious. Like, why on earth is this random guy who I've never seen before want my shoe? Okay, he just tore the entire tongue out. Okay, never mind, it's back. I'm good. And then there's the magic.
yeah, yeah. I definitely enjoy. I definitely enjoy watching shows like that, and I know they do that in at least for a lot of magic tricks. I've seen a lot of Penn and Teller fool us, and they've taken a lot of weird things from the audience, and it's always great. It's hilarious at the same time, but it's also very impactful
Yeah,
at the end. So it's definitely a lot of great ideas that you can really go with there.
yeah.
All right, so that's going to bring me to my final question, and that is talking about your Descendants playing cards. So tell me a little bit about those. Maybe just a little bit about the journey you've taken with those cards, how you came up with the design, and things like that.
Yeah. So originally, Descendants playing cards was not supposed to be a thing.
Mm,
And through most of high school up until senior year, I was dating this girl. I dated her for 5 years. And right before I knew that I needed to break up with her, because like I was really just blinded by the whole thing, and I realized what I needed to do. And the way that my brain works is I write poetry all the time,
mm,
and I draw logos all the time. I like geometric type designs, and that's the way that I can kind of get out what I'm feeling, because I'm really bad at verbalizing it. So I can just I can write a poem and then look down and read it as if it's the first time and I didn't read it. And so I'll write poetry and I'll create designs, and I was trying to find a way to visualize what I was feeling in that moment. I just felt like I hit rock bottom. But like I was like, drawing a rock isn't going to do this. That's not going to be very cool. So I was trying to find a way of doing that, and the more basic idea of the back design for Descendants playing cards came into play, where I want it to look like it layered down all the way down into the center, and as if it just stair stepped to the bottom, and you couldn't ever see where it ended. That was kind of the look I was going for. Now, originally, it wasn't supposed to be a deck of playing cards. That I just had a journal, had a
mm,
notebook where I just had a bunch of designs that I've made before. And then when I got into YouTube and playing cards, and I was like, because everyone always dreams, I want to make a deck of playing cards. It's the way that you can put your more stamp on the industry.
mm.
And I was looking through some of those designs, and that one, I really liked the way it was going. So I kind of took that and I ran with it. Now, there's definitely some things in there that I don't want to just be like, depression, like that, that's not a very good idea for a deck anyways. And that's not like,
Yeah,
I don't like promoting that kind of thing. I'm generally a pretty happy person, so that'd be kind of weird for me to do something on. So
Yeah.
I wanted to be like, this is where you are and this is where you can be. So like on the big tuck flap, if you open up the deck, it just says look up. Now it's kind of a 2-for-1. One side, it's no matter how far you go, no matter how far down you hit, how far you descend, you can always look up and then get back out of it. The second half is for when you're doing the ambitious card trick routine. It's a magician joke, and you have that card just sitting there in your mouth, and you can't get your spectator to look up and actually see what actually happened. It like just look up, and so I love puns anyway. So I'm just like I'm gonna put a pun in here. Why not? So that's kind of how the whole thing originally started, and then I just tweak little parts.
Yeah, I actually love that idea. I mean, I do love puns myself. I know a lot of people hate them, and everyone I use them on hates them. But
Yeah.
I'm sure they're laughing on the inside, probably. I'm not exactly sure, but I'm sure.
What
I'm
happens is
fairly
they
sure they're
don't
laughing.
like it in the moment, and then they use the same pun later.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what happens.
Oh yeah.
But I kind of like the lookup that you have on the flat, especially because I feel like you could have some kind of catchphrase or some kind of motto with the cards. I
Yeah.
think it could be really cool. Can you say exactly what you said? I completely forgot what you said with the first reasoning of why you
No
have
matter how
lookup.
far you descend, you can always look up.
Yeah, yeah. I think that'd be a pretty good like slogan to have for that deck. That actually
Yeah.
sounds pretty cool. So,
Yeah.
did you get your prototype for that deck yet? I know you were telling me about it a while
Yeah.
back.
We are ordering them on Monday.
Oh, nice. So you got everything all set up, and you're doing that through Made Playing Cards, or how are you
Yeah.
putting that together?
We're going through MPC. Yeah.
Cool.
So ordering it Monday, and then hopefully roughly 3 weeks from then, we'll be starting the Kickstarter.
All right, good. So your expected Kickstarter date is so are you saying you're going to order it and 3 weeks from there you're going to start the Kickstarter, or are you going to get the deck and then start the Kickstarter?
So it'll be from the day that I get the prototypes, which should be roughly
Gotcha.
2 weeks afterwards.
Yeah.
It'll be like 4 days. So I'll take a
Right.
day to take a bunch of photos, do the trailer on the second day, edit that, publish on the 4th.
Gotcha. Okay. Yep. That makes a lot of sense. So, I guess how did you put together the Kickstarter? Do you have everything written down already, or are you just waiting on getting the deck first and then you're going to put it all together?
So I have most of it done. Clearly, the same things I can't have done, like taking physical photos. I have some
Yeah.
renders that might be done. So I have some renders, but I don't have physical photos of certain things that I want in certain ways. I don't
Mhm.
have the trailer done, obviously, because hard to do a trailer with invisible cards.
Mhm.
It just doesn't work. So that was Spin Doctor, if you hadn't guessed. So there's certain things I can't do, but everything that I have the ability to do without the cards in my hands
Yeah.
is completely done.
Nice. Good stuff. So how are you ramping up to get everything to get it promoted out, to get everything set up and things like that?
Yeah. So this is actually my second of 4 podcasts I'm going to be on, like video interviews. So I was with Caleb, then this one, Mr. Magic Cardistry starting up his own, and then
Nice.
I'm going to be on the round. So I have those 4 that I'm going to be on. Clearly, my YouTube channel and Instagram pages, I have those. I know a lot of people because I just talk to a lot of people, and it's how I work. So word of mouth is going to be massive. I have a pretty large extended family, and hopefully doing things like this, kind of, for lack of better terms, because I hate the way that this always comes across, but like almost taking others' audiences.
Mm-hmm.
So like simply being here with you, people that aren't subscribed to my channel or who wouldn't normally see me are now going to see me, right?
Yeah. So I guess I'd see that as more like exposure type, instead of thinking it as taking someone else's audiences. Because I mean, you're kind of sharing the community with everyone. Because I'm sure people that are interested in what I do, especially because you have the same topic, they'd be interested in what you're doing as well. So it's more just like you're getting a greater exposure from being on other people's channels, right? So that's pretty much everything that I had. Do you want to add anything else? Do you want to talk about anything else?
Besides, yeah, I do have one other thing because I wanted to showcase something that I haven't showcased before.
Yeah.
Here on this interview because I thought that'd be kind of fun. So when I'm going to film the trailer ends, and I go into actually talking about the deck of cards, this is going to be the way that I'm going to do it. So I just wanted to kind of show this. No one's seen this before. So this
That'd be pretty
shelf,
cool.
right here, I actually built with my dad. This
Nice.
isn't one that we bought. So we built this, and here's why. Let's see. There's a magnet here that I keep on the underneath side of it. And if you put it here on the top, you can actually drop that down.
Oh, wow.
So on the inside of that is where Descendants playing cards will first be seen.
That is pretty awesome.
Yeah, so I kind of wanted
really
to
dope.
show that for the first time. I was like, what can I do? Like, clearly we're doing the giveaway here, and like this, like different things that I can do in different places. I'm like, you know what? Let's throw a little bit more into it. Let's have some fun with it. So, yeah.
So yeah, that looks really nice.
Yeah,
Wow.
I took some felt and made my logo, put my logo on the inside, and yeah, it was
That is
so hard to make, but I really like the way it turned out.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was worth it. Whatever time you put into it, whatever thought went into it, I think it was definitely worth it. It's really great stuff. All right, man. Well, I think that's gonna be it for us. So, Elijah, it was really great having you at the card table, and for everyone watching, make sure to subscribe to him. Check out all his stuff. I'll put his video links, YouTube channel, Instagram down in the description. Make sure you go ahead and check him out. And I'll see you guys next time. Huge shout out to Card Perfect Magician for joining me today. As I mentioned, I'll put the link to his YouTube, Instagram, all that stuff down in the description. So make sure to go ahead and check it out. And if you want to see some more bonus footage, I'll put the link to that down below as well. And that's all we got. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time at the card table.